We're gonna go into the top 5 body weight exercises that you can utilize to become an explosive freak, and we're gonna start right now. What's up, everybody? It's Dane Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in being a better athlete, you want to be more coordinated, you want to produce a lot of force, you want to get more explosive, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you increase your explosiveness. So during the last 8 to 9 months, we've had a lot of questions like, hey, I don't have access to the gym. My gym shut down. I want to be more explosive, but I don't know if that can happen. I don't know if there's any specific movements that I can do to be more explosive without having access to the weight room. And it's important to understand that weights and strength training and resistance training can help increase explosiveness dramatically. So can body weight specific movements. There's a lot of different ideas and movements, techniques, positions, everything that you can do from a body weight perspective to increase your explosiveness. And it's important right off the bat, if we can coordinate our muscles as rapidly as possible to accelerate as quickly as possible, we are more explosive. So if we can move our body or an opposing object as quickly as possible in a very, very short time frame, then we are going to be more explosive. And so when you start to understand how all of these things are sort of intertwined, that's when you really start to harness your own individual explosiveness. So coming in at that number 5 spot, this is gonna be a pretty standard exercise, and we're talking about double leg bounds. And so I love having athletes do double leg bounds. And it's really important to understand too. This can be a pretty complicated movement. It can be very intense. And so if you're doing a double leg bound, make sure that you take it easy. You could do 4, 5, 6 sets with just very short jumps. It doesn't have to be super intense. Then as you get stronger and as you get more reactive and you start to feel the movement more effectively, now you can start to have a shorter period of ground contact. Now you can jump further, have a shorter period of ground contact, and react even faster. And so I like to utilize double leg bounds anywhere from 1 to 2 times a week, but typically once a week for about 5 to 6 sets of 3 to 4 reps. If I'm working with athletes that aren't as coordinated or aren't as strong, we're gonna take it easy. We might take 3 or 4 weeks to build up with just 2 to 4 foot jumps. And then over time, they start to find that rhythm. They start to find that ability to recruit and coordinate effectively. I also wanna say, when you're doing that double leg bound, use your arms and cycle accordingly. Don't try, a lot of people make mistakes where they almost push backwards as they're bounding. We want to think chest forward, arm sweep forward, chest forward, arm sweep forward. That's going to help us learn acceleration. That's going to help us learn how to coordinate our entire upper body with our lower body. That next key exercise to increase your explosiveness is going to be the explosive knee planks. And so I like to have our athletes utilize furniture sliders. If you don't have access to a furniture sliders and you're stuck at home, put a towel on a hardwood floor, put a towel on a linoleum floor, put a towel on a concrete floor if it's got a smooth finish. Now you can start to do those explosive knee planks. I want to hold that push-up position. I want the trunk level. I want your butt in line with your shoulder blades, maybe even a slight flexion in your lower back as you're holding that push-up position. And I want to see the knees drive towards your chest, and I want you to squeeze, contract hard when you get to the top, and then let your feet go back to that push-up position, bring it in explosively. And here's a big key factor. A lot of athletes will just use those hips to bring the knees up. We want to squeeze from the abs, squeeze through your belly button, push your belly button to the sky while you're bringing those knees in. Then when you get up to the top, contract your abs even further. You should feel it in your hands, all the way into your abs, even in your shoulder blades. That's when you start to feel force transfer throughout your entire body. Explosive knee planks are difficult, but a lot of beginners can do them relatively effectively. If you're not that proficient, do them a little bit slower to start and then build into the being a little bit more explosive. I like doing 4 sets of 17. It can smoke your abs. And it also has a really good transfer to other lifts that might be more complicated, might be more complex, because that explosive aspect of the abs helps your entire body coordinate effectively together. That next key body weight exercise is going to be a depth drop into a tuck jump. And so one of the things that you could do is you could set up a chair, you could drop from about 18 inches and you just take that step forward, and when you land, you react and you jump as explosively as you can from a vertical position, and you raise those knees up into your chest. That's where we can start to feel that explosive knee plank really transfer into the tuck jump. But one of the big factors here is with that depth drop, you can land and be ready to engage the upper body, to engage your trunk, to engage everything, so you have a very short amortization phase, which means that recoil from the eccentric to the concentric movement. So it's catch, explode back up, bring those knees up to the chest. This is a complicated movement. One of the things that you can start with is you can start with a depth drop from 12 inches. You could start with a depth drop from 12 to 16 inches, and you can just stop, catch, and do a little jump. Then you can do a stop, catch, jump into the knee tuck. And then over time, you can go into a fast reaction directly into that tuck jump. It takes a little bit of time. If you're really strong, you're really coordinated, you're really athletic, you can likely do these already. And I like to do them for 6 sets of 2, 6 sets of 3, not a lot of reps, but a lot of sets. But if you're a little weaker, just focus on that depth drop. Just focus on absorbing that force, and then over time, you're gonna increase your strength and you're gonna get more explosive, and then you can start to add in that reactiveness into that tuck jump. That number 2 key body weight exercise for explosiveness is gonna be all around that upper body. I love using this exercise for shot putters, for discus throwers, for offensive linemen, for field hockey players, for swimmers, for anybody who uses their upper body. This is a rebound push-up. So your feet can be on the floor. Let's say your hands are up on 18-inch boxes. You're gonna drop off those 18-inch boxes and explode back up. So it's gonna be a quick reaction, back up. Hold 1, 2, drop, rebound, back up to those boxes. So there's gonna be a short flexion in the pec, you're gonna get stretched, short flexion in the elbow, drive back up to the boxes and catch. Pause at the top. This movement, if you're a bench presser, will blow up your bench press because you're absorbing a lot of force at the bottom. You will never have a problem coming off the chest if you're still bench pressing. This is a complicated movement. What I would recommend is drop from those boxes and absorb and catch that force, 1, 2, and then you can do an explosive push-up. You can do clap push-ups before you get into this, but make sure before you do those rebound push-ups that you're strong enough to do clap push-ups for say 5 sets of 5. If you can hit that, then you can definitely hit a rebound push-up. I recommend anywhere from 5 to 10 sets of 4 to 6 reps. Look, all these explosive exercises are complicated, they're hard, they're difficult. The programming can be very complicated. And so it's important to recognize that a lot of elite level athletes are successful with these body weight exercises because their programming is effective. They utilize a system that's periodized properly. And that's why we put together our Thor program, our Berserker program, and that's why we even put together our How to Get Faster program to help skilled position athletes, to help other athletes that are dealing with speed-based training, explosive-based training. You want to run faster, you can click on those links down below because they're periodized effectively. We've put these things together so that you know what you need to do from program to program and develop as effectively as possible over time. So you can click on the link down below, you can head over to garagestrength.com and you can pick up any of those programs that are going to help you get more explosive. Finally, that's going to take us to our number 1 explosive movement for body weight training, and that's going to be champion strides. And this is an exercise, this is a complex that I developed specifically for Sam Mattis. I had noticed that Sam, who's a world finalist discus thrower, he's a US national champ, he's an NCAA champion in the discus. He's one of the strongest, most explosive athletes that you could meet. Okay, he's an absolute freak, but I started to notice his strength levels were very high. He could back squat 270 kilos for reps, 600 plus pounds for reps, right? He had a lot of strength, but he wasn't coordinating that strength into the circle. It wasn't transferring over to his discus throw. And it's important to know the discus is only 2 kilos. So when we're talking about back squatting 270 kilos, that transfer, there's a point of diminishing returns. But when we started to use champion strides, now all of a sudden he started to take that strength and he started to get more and more and more explosive. And so this is a very complicated movement. It's a double leg bound into a single leg landing, into another double leg bound, followed by the opposite leg, single leg landing and jump, okay? So it's very complicated, it's complex, and you have to coordinate. You have to really think about it. That's one of the cool things though with bodyweight exercises is that it takes a lot of mental agility. And there's even science and research that has shown that agility training and explosive training in older people can actually improve their cognitive ability. And that's something I've seen with a lot of our athletes even, is that when they can do a champion stride, now they can start to coordinate even more effectively. Now you can see their coordination improve from other lifts to their body weight stuff, which then is going to improve their sports performance. So this is a very, very hard exercise. I like to do these once a week, and we'll do at least 6 or 7 sets. But here's the whole thing. If you cannot do these, you can do a double leg bound to a landing. Then you can do a single leg bound to a double leg landing. Then you can do a double leg bound to a single leg landing, and then you can jump again. You can take it step by step. You can make the distance less. You can make it simpler, less intense. Double leg, single leg, double leg, single leg. Nice and easy, not as long, not as intense. And then over time, as you get comfortable with the movement, then you start to increase the intensity, you start to increase the distance that you're jumping, and then over time, you start to get to that really elite level. But the big key factor is that explosiveness tends to be skill-based. So when we can master all these skills, that's when we can really start to display our explosiveness and really start to display our strength into a speed strength. And so it takes time. And then in 3 to 6 months, all of a sudden, you're an explosive freak. So if you want more help around explosive based training, you can click on the links down below. You can head over to garagestrength.com. You can pick up your How to Get Faster speed based program. You can pick up our Berserker speed bodyweight program or our Thor strength and power bodyweight program. If you want more information about bodyweight training, click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.